Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. I want to talk to you today about what I think are the most common mistakes that people make, not only when they start trying to change their life and their lifestyle to one of a carnivore existence, but the pitfalls and some of the reasons why so many people just can't do it. I'm going to talk to you while I cook my breakfast, as usual. Going to have bacon and eggs. What a shocker. I think I finally figured it out after all of these years, and I think it took all of those years, and I think it took all that personal experience and failures to finally get what worked for me. And I have to say to myself, my paper towels just ran out. I hate it when that happens. But I have a new roll here ready to go, which means that being prepared is something that's important. I know that was just a little thing, but that's kind of how my life works now. I try to be prepared. That kind of segues into one of the things that I think is important, and that is, if you want to succeed, you have to make it convenient and easy and almost foolproof for yourself. And we'll get to that in a few minutes. I just, in 2 days, I'm coming up to 1 year and 9 months that I have been pure carnivore. 1 year and 9 months. I started this on August the 1st of 2022. Hard to believe, 1 year and 9 months that I have strictly adhered to the things that I had previously learned that sabotaged, my efforts to do this thing. Took me a lifetime to discover what these mistakes were. And evidently, I must have done something right, because 1 year and 9 months, I have not deviated, not a single bit. Not a cheat, not a carb. I hardly believe it myself. I hardly believed it myself. I discovered first, and I think most importantly, that the thing that had always sabotaged me was something I talk about more than anybody else I hear on YouTube talking about it. And that thing is, the main problem is the fact that most humans alive today in the world are carb addicts. Whether they know it or not, whether they're willing to admit it or not, whether anybody even talks about it or not, that is the root, that is the thing at the heart of the problem. Took me 75 years to learn that. And the single most important rule that's broken all the time by people dieting is simply abstinence is necessary. Necessary. Just like any other addiction. They call it food addiction. That's a misnomer. We're not addicted to food. We're addicted to carbohydrates. It's a drug. It's a drug that stimulates endorphin releases. And those are the things that drive addiction and addictive behaviors. So the first main thing that you need to accept and come to terms with and learn as much about as you can is how addiction works and what it does to you, and that you must abstain from carbs, which is why I went from keto to carnivore and finally had some success. So it's not a decision that you make lightly. If you have experienced what I've experienced, if you've given up, if you've fallen off that wagon so many times your ass hurts from hitting the ground, have a talk with yourself. Come to terms with the reality that it's going to be zero carbs if you have a medium to high level of addictive tendencies towards carbohydrates. Now, there are a lucky few of us that can take it or leave it. I'm not talking to you. Don't write a comment and tell me, I don't have any problem. I can avoid cookies and cake. Well, good for you. I can avoid alcohol. I don't want it. I don't care for it. I don't like it. I don't need it. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not addicted to carbs. It's not a problem for me. But I can't tell an alcoholic, well, I don't know why you have a problem because I don't have a problem. That's nonsense. If you are a carb addict, you're a carb addict and you do have a problem. Abstinence is the most important thing. Do not eat carbs consciously. You can't have cheat days. Stop thinking of these things as a reward, as a treat. They're not. Your addiction makes you interpret them as a treat, but they're not a treat. They are poison. That, the single most important thing that I discovered that's made me a success on carnivore, and I think that I walk the walk, and that gives me the right to talk about it. The second thing are your eating habits. We know what to eat on carnivore. We know we eat animal products. We eat meat. We eat fish, butter, high-fat dairy if we don't have specific problems, but some people do. Some people have problems with high-fat dairy. It is what it is. I've given up all dairy except butter. I found cheese to be addictive because it has casomorphine. Some people don't. That's fine. Your eating habits and schedule are the second thing I think is very, very important. And I subscribe to the fact that human beings were not meant to be eating constantly from the time they get up in the morning till they go to bed at night. We are animals, and if you look at the animal kingdom, the only animals that have to eat all day constantly are herbivores that have to graze because they eat plants and convert it into tasty meat. For us carnivores, we are carnivores. Grazing is not something that we are physiologically adapted to do. We don't have the digestive system for it. We don't have multi-chambered stomachs. We don't have hind guts anymore. We have adapted as an animal that eats meat and other animal products. We ate plants and berries and some tubers back in the ancient times before agriculture as survival food. Well, we don't need survival food anymore. We don't need to hunt for survival food because there's an ample supply of animal products available for us. We don't have to grab our spear and go out into the jungle and savannah and try to kill some animals. We go to Sam's Club and we buy the marked down meat. It's easy. Forget the survival food. You don't need it. It's not a treat. There's nothing in it that you need. Most of the time it contains toxins. You're better off without it. Get rid of it. Get it out of your house. Forget about fruits and vegetables and whole grains and all that other crap. You eat bacon and eggs and steak and meat. Along with not grazing goes the habit of snacking. If you're eating the right amount of meat and everything, you will never be hungry. Why would you want to snack or eat something between meals and interrupt your digestive cycle? Why? If you're not hungry. I haven't eaten since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and I'm really not all that hungry. I have just learned that when I eat on a schedule of my first meal between 11 o'clock and noon and my second meal around 3 or 4 o'clock, that works great. My digestion works great. All my gut issues have cleared up. I don't gain weight. I don't suffer the torment of cravings and hunger. And I don't snack. And there's a lot of reasons not to snack. And the only reason to snack, is going to be emotional eating. Because you haven't gotten over the need yet for that fix of carbohydrates. But the longer you do this, that just goes away. Excuse me while I beat my eggs. Thank you. Now I'm going to try something this morning. I got all this bacon grease in the pan, and I've had it suggested to me a number of times. Why do I pour it off? So today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to cook the eggs swimming in all of this bacon grease. And that'll make sure that I eat more of it and get more fat, because it's important. It's important to get an adequate amount of fat. And that's what you learn when you learn about carnivore. You learn what you're supposed to eat, the proper fat to protein ratios, which is, 60 to 70% of your calories from fat, the rest from protein, and none from carbohydrates. So you learn what to eat, you learn when to eat it, and each of us is a little different, and we have to work out a schedule that keeps us satisfied without being hungry, doesn't interrupt our digestive cycle with constant snacks, keeps our blood sugar, our insulin, and everything else steady, and somehow that kind of mimics how our ancient ancestors lived their lives, eating mostly meat. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. And that's what you have to do. So make up your mind, if you're going to be on carnivore and you want to succeed, that these are important things. Or you could do like I did. You could waste the first 75 years of your life making all the mistakes, so you learn this stuff the hard way. I'm trying to let you benefit from all the crap that I learned the hard way, and you can take this advice or not. So it's very important. So far, 0 carbs. Period. Period. End of story. If I can do, listen, a carb addict that I am, if I can do this for 1 year and 9 months with 0 carbs, and I attribute that to the reason for my success, you can do it. If you can't do it, you won't do it. Second thing is no snacking. Time restricted eating. Time restricted eating. That means intermittent fasting. That works for me. That works for all of us. Our physiology works best when we're not digesting food all the time. Digestion takes a lot of energy. When you're not digesting food all the time and you're not eating at least 18 hours a day, your body has a chance to repair itself. You have a chance for autophagy to work. You have a chance to heal. You don't go to bed with a full stomach. You're living like our physiology evolved for us to live. And the benefits are amazing. And those things also contribute to some of the amazing benefits that people experience on carnivore. It's not just from the meat, it's the whole cycle of life every day, of getting out in the barefoot for a little while in the morning and catching some sun. It's getting exercise. It's a whole system of things that you should learn. And if you don't do these things, it's going to make your chances of success just that much harder. And I think the last mistake that people make, wow, that is a heavy egg because of all that bacon grease. Boy, does it look good. The last thing that I want to talk about is going to be coming up with a system to execute every aspect of this diet so that it's not hard to do, requires little or no thought. And I'm talking about the food itself. Figure out ways or find ways to make everything as convenient for you, as little effort for you, as little work, as little cleanup. And I've got that down to a science right now. I spend, other than making these videos for you, almost no time in the kitchen and very little time in the stores. I've got the right tools. I bought all these tools. I've tried them out. On my website, you've got links to the stuff I use. It helps. It's there if you want to use it. But it's important to have the right tools and the right methods. And just keep around only the things you're going to eat. I know that's hard if you got people living with you. But learn how to execute every aspect of this. And the shopping and the cooking and learning a little bit about meat and what you like and what you don't, and ways that make this the most pleasant, the most tasty. The recipes that you can make to have a little bit of variety without blowing it. All of this will make changes in you that you won't believe. You'll find that you don't need variety anymore. You'll find you don't think about food anymore. You'll find that eating is kind of just like sleeping. It's just something that you do. It's just something that you do. It's not so much as who you are. It's just what you do. It's what you do. You'll be satisfied like you never have before. It's absolutely amazing. So, like me, when you're sitting watching your YouTube feeds and thumbing through those videos, I want you to be wary and aware of what each of these videos are about. And wow, everybody on YouTube that puts out these videos, I'm sure, is well-meaning. I think they're missing all of these main points that I just said. And when you see a video that tells you how to make carnivore pizza, or it tells you how to make keto cheesecake, or it tells you to make this snack, I skip right over them. If I ever see the word snack in a title of a video, it's not for me. I don't snack ever, never, not once, not a bite between the 2 meals that I have every day. And some people do 1 meal a day. I just can't get enough food in at 1 meal. I'm not that big a guy. When I see videos about how to make foods that are just what they call carnivore versions of the crap I used to be addicted to, I avoid them like the plague. I'll watch a video of how to make a better steak. Anything about how to prepare a 1-ingredient food. About as far afield as I go is using pork rind crumbs to bread something. That's it. It adds a little bit of variety, but triggers no addiction. So, I'm going to eat my breakfast. You all take the rest of the day off and eat meat.